We'll now cross back to Tanzania again, where we'll try speaking to Tula again about the COVID-19 situation there. Can you hear me clearly now?
I can hear you very well, thank you.
Oh, great. So before we cut off, you were telling us about the current situation of COVID in the country.
Yes, so as of the 17th of April, the statistics from the Ministry of Health show that the numbers have increased quite drastically. We've had a total number of 53 new cases that came up just yesterday, bringing the total number of infected, confirmed cases rather, to 147, with 5 of them, with total number of deaths being 5. And we've had 11 people who have managed to beat the disease and confirm that they're well. But still, out of those numbers, 4 are in critical condition, while the rest are in quarantine.
What could be causing these drastic numbers increasing?
Well, mostly it has been massive testing that has been done, increased efforts in the testing that's being done by the Ministry of Health in the country. But we can also say that more people, there were a lot of people that were in quarantine and self-quarantining, especially those who had come from international, from different countries. But now we are seeing there was a shift just of last week before we got into the Easter holidays. The Minister of Health did warn that the numbers would increase, because she confirmed that now, instead of there being foreign cases, that is people coming from outside bringing the disease in, there will be more local transmission. So what we're seeing here is now moving from it being international to local community-based transmission. So the numbers are sure to increase if this is the case.
Many people tend to think that the numbers are increasing because there hasn't been drastic measures that have been put in place. Why do you think, in your opinion, why do you think the government has been adamant to probably implementing a lockdown in the country?
Well, the fact is that the lockdown has immediate ramifications for those who are living hand to mouth and those who have a network of their dependents. Majority of Tanzanians live in rural areas. Majority of Tanzanians live off the informal sector, and this is something that I think maybe the government is not quite prepared to or equipped to deal with, especially the economic consequences. Earlier this month, the president, speaking in a church service, said that there wouldn't be any lockdown, primarily because of those economic effects, of those economic effects, especially to individual Tanzanians. But also, he did mention that the consequences go beyond just for Tanzanians themselves, but for the region as well. He said that the lockdown would have effects on the neighboring countries, including Rwanda, including Burundi, where if we completely shut off the port, completely shut off any transport moving off of Dar es Salaam, which is the main port city, main city of business, then there would be consequences to the region as well.
Tula, the president announced announced 3 days of national prayer against COVID-19. Do you think this is rather a more pragmatic move, and does it address the concerns of Tanzanians, if at all there are any?
Well, it has to be said that the president is a devout Catholic person that takes his faith very seriously. He has been urging Tanzanians from the get-go to pray, whether they are Christians or Muslims. But this has been on top of the fact that he has been echoing the sentiments of the Ministry of Health, the Minister of Health, Umi Mwalimu, and her associates in keeping hygiene, being able to wash your hands, and now the latest directive is for everybody to wear masks. And so, of course, that's also been met with a lot of criticism, whether from outside but also internally. A lot of it coming from the opposition as well, or people who don't feel that this is pragmatic enough for the country and for the situation that is here. But he's kind of held his ground that Tanzania is an autonomous country. It has its own measures of the way of doing things. But we've seen that as well in other countries, also in like the European sphere. So countries, for example, like Sweden, have not taken the total lockdown as other European countries, and somehow have managed to isolate the numbers. But I think this is something that, as an autonomous government, they've decided to take on, and at the end of the day, if they are willing to be accountable for the consequences of that, then it will do what it will.
Before I let you go, Tula, how responsive are Tanzanians towards the measures that are already in place?
Well, Tanzanians have, by and large, done well with the measures that have been taken in place, even before the first case came in. So we already saw people taking social distancing or the physical distancing a bit seriously. We've seen a lot of, when you go to the markets, many of the shops have the buckets with disinfectant water. And now the new directive within Dar es Salaam is that everybody, wherever they may go, needs to wear a mask, and there have been measures in place where masks are going to be provided. Some private entities have shifted their whole business directive to create masks for citizens. So so far, Tanzanians, by and large, are heeding to the directive that they've been given.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, Tula, and stay safe. Continue to stay safe.